Welcome to this review of the AudioScape Buss Comp. I'm going to be showing it to you today in the context of electronic music, in the context of this track. And what I've done is I've inserted it via Prismorpheus converters as a loop, so I can just bypass the signal being sent to it right here. If you're wondering why this device looks so battered, it's a look that is offered by AudioScape. You can get it like this or with a normal faceplate. Let's have a listen to it. So I'm sure there are many engineers out there now that are horrified why I'm beating the bejesus out of this Buss Comp. And honestly, if you'd asked me this a couple of weeks ago, I would also have done the standard technique, which is just tickling the needle and just getting it to do its kind of, stereo width glue thing. But I had the privilege recently of working with actually a Grammy-winning engineer on one of his projects. I remixed one of his tracks, and he sent me a project basically like the Ableton Buss Comp with very similar settings, so 4:1 ratio, and then just slamming the hell out of it, which I realized added so much like mid presence and drive, and of course it made everything super loud. So the way that I'm running this is on fastest release, slowest attack, 4:1 ratio, and yeah, no side chain low cut, and just slamming it, and listen to how much it brings the mids up front, plus doing the glue thing, and it doesn't actually destroy the kick. Have a listen. So yeah, really interesting technique, and in order to achieve this, I'm actually running my signal super hot so that I can hit the compressor that hard and get that much gain reduction. Yeah, so let me set it up now in a more normal way of using this, so with more conservative settings, which would be still 4:1 ratio, which is what I like for electronic music, but I'm going to do auto release. I'm going to leave the attack at 30 milliseconds because anything below that will start to squash the transients of the kick, which I don't want to happen, just tickle the needles to get the glue and sort of the stereo width that this device is able to add. As I'm switching through this now, I've just noticed this is a really nice way to listen what it's doing to the stereo width. Check out what happens to that gated pad when I bring it in and out of the signal path. If you're on headphones or on good speakers, you'll hear this. So it's as if your panning of the pad goes like another, 15-20% further out. So it definitely adds that stereo width that Buss Comps are known for if they're good. This wouldn't be complete without a comparison to plugins. It's a kind of an unfair comparison, but I'm sure that if you're considering buying one of these kind of devices, you want to know, right? So I've loaded up the Ableton glue compressor, and I've also loaded up the UAD Buss Comp, which is like an official collaboration with SSL. And let's have a listen to what they sound like. And let me show you quickly how to find these settings on a Buss Comp that I'm using to demo this. What I do is I take it out of auto release to fastest release, ratio 4, attack 30 milliseconds, release, as I said, fast as possible, and then just start slamming it. But you got to listen, because if you slam it too hard, you'll take the life out of the low end of your track. But you know, it's a balance between having a punchy, still present low end and having lots of mids kind of cutting through your mix and boosting sort of the mid harmonics and frequency spectrum of your mix. So let me bring it in and show you how to find kind of the sweet spot. There it starts to lose the low end. Do it again. And then now I can do the gain boost. Okay, so that's pretty close. Let me now do a quick A/B bypass. So I'm going to switch to the DAW window for this. Let's now compare that to the UAD version that's on the screen now. And now Ableton's built-in glue compressor. To my ears, the low end has more weight and more punch. Let's listen to it again, but now with all the signals in. So yeah, to my ears, definitely the hardware has a, what is the word for edel in English? It has a more rich, like a more elegant tone. It just feels more rounded and more present. And I hear the stereo width. It's more present when the full mix is up, but it doesn't do something kind of strange to the mid mono signals, that the kick and bass and everything stays super punchy, but it just adds an additional width layer. And the plugins actually do really well, but they don't have that sort of smoothness and that just easiness about compressing the signal like this. And I feel that they do add the width, but they do take a little bit away from the mono signal, so from the kick and bass. I think it's an amazing compressor that AudioScape has built here. I have actually used quite a few different Buss Comp recreations. I think actually this is one of the best. It's very cool that they've added the sidechain low cut feature. It's super practical in some cases, but yeah, for these techniques that I'm showing you in this video, it's good to just leave it out so you can really hit everything and get kind of that saturation going by, in essence, riding the waves that you're sending in and adding saturation and harmonics around there. I hope that this technique is actually also interesting for you. I was really surprised to see it and thought it would be cool to share so that you can also apply this to your music. What I haven't even shown you is how cleanly and well balanced across the frequency spectrum this device operates. So let me just show you that as a final thing, as a testament to the quality control and the quality of build over at AudioScape. I'm going to bring up my signal analyzer. I'm just going to run the kick into that, and I'm going to do a bypass of the device, and then you'll be able to see that the kick just stays perfectly flat, perfectly in the middle. So this spectrum analyzer here on the left shows you frequency from reds or lows to up here highs, of course, and then it shows you what the frequency content is doing right and left. I don't actually remember exactly what these are called, but they're super useful when you're running outboard gear. So let me show you what happens if I bring in the compressor. I'm going to put in Ableton so you can see when I bypass. Now, right now, we're seeing it's a needle, right? It's perfectly mono. It's a digital system. There's no other external output going on. So, okay, it's pure. This is what it looks like with the compressor. It doesn't change. It's unbelievable. And yeah, I've said this in another video that I did here. This is quite rare. Unless you're talking about really like the most high-end stuff, you know, API, SSL, Neve, louder than liftoff, food control system, Studer. These are the kind of devices that, well, that I've seen this with and that I actually use in my studio. I've had a lot of issues with devices actually that don't operate this cleanly across the whole frequency spectrum. And you know, like someone will say, yeah, it's a tolerance. There's like, you know, it's plus minus 1 dB from 20 to 20 kilohertz. But if there's like minus 1 dB on your kick drum between 30 and 80 hertz, and your kick drum is always panned a little bit to the left where the rest of your signal and your track is mono or in the middle, that's a problem for electronic music, right? So I was very, very happy to see that these devices operate so cleanly. You'll see it in the other reviews also that I've done. It's a testament to Chris and his team, both on the care taken to select the components, how it's put together, still by hand actually in the US, and the quality control that they have at the end of it. Like I said, it's a rare occurrence to see a device that operates this cleanly across the whole frequency spectrum. What do you think? Leave your comments below. Check out the other videos if you like. There's a few other really interesting devices in this series, in this collaboration with AudioScape. And yeah, I hope that this was an interesting video for you to see, to get a feeling for how this device sounds, maybe learn a new technique for slamming the bejesus out of your compressor. So a little side note and plug for my own company here. What you're listening to today is a track that I produced using the Rapid Flow Infinity Bundle. We offer this template for Ableton, Bitwig, FL Studio, and Logic Pro. In essence, it gives you a live performance effects and a mastering chain, as well as pre-mixed samples that all fit together, and you'll be able to make electronic music way, way faster than doing everything by hand, sort of from the ground up. It'll take all the guesswork out of your mixes, and it'll bring it to a place where you can make music in real time, and yeah, just enjoy the creative process a lot more. So if that's of interest to you, check out rapidflow.shop. I'm going to make some more music and just hang around here a bit and yeah, play with this, and I'll see you on the next video. Have a good one. Bye bye.